Now then, let's discuss that training assignment. We've decided to start you out on a probe installation, just to get your feet wet.
I guess we should back up a bit. Here in New LA, we're using a specialized computer system called Frontier Nav to help us deploy a sensor grid across Mira. A network of data probes that allows us to monitor conditions and collect all kinds of information about the planet.
Expanding that grid and filling in the blind spots is one of Blade's highest priorities. Here, take a look at this. What you're seeing on screen is a terrain map that includes New LA and the surrounding landmass. As you can see, we've divided the area into a series of hexagonal blocks. We call these blocks segments, and together they form our grid. We determined this was the most efficient pattern, given the limited range of our probes. Based on it, we know exactly where we need the probes to go. Now we just have to install them.
The sooner the better, as far as I'm concerned. The Frontier Nav probes can also detect the general locations of living things in the vicinity, which comes in handy if we need to track down a Blade or another citizen.
Yes, quite handy indeed. So for this first exercise, you'll be heading here, to that white segment. Go there, install the data probe, and then come back home.
Got it. East of the city.
In that case, we can take the East Gate out of the administrative district, right? We should be there in no time.
I'll leave the details on the data probe installation procedure to you, Elma.
Of course, Mr. Secretary. All right, you two, shall we?
Yeah! Training or not, let's go install the hell out of that probe!
Story mission. Received from Client Nagi. Mr. Coercer himself. Install the data probe at the Frontier Nav site and complete your training. Level 4 requirement. I think we qualify for that. How tough could it be? Welcome to Chapter 2, everyone. The New Frontier. Let's first and foremost change our active member back to us, since we're the one who needs to complete this assignment. Thank you for the tour, Lynn. I'm sure we'll take control of you in the future. These chapters are quick fire now, but that's not going to last.
Man, am I glad we pulled an assignment to the east of the city this time. It'd be a long walk all the way back over to the West Gate.
Hold on. Are we even sure the East Gate will be open? Last I heard, it was still on lockdown from all the high-level indigen activity.
It was, but they just lowered the threat level earlier today. The gates are officially open for business. One of our teams must have gone out there and kicked some furry indigen butt, huh?
We certainly did that on Westgate.
Seriously? That was you? Cool.
I don't think so. Those Grexes we took down were fairly routine.
No.
Definitely not something they'd lock both gates over, at least.
Then I take my cool back.
Oh.
But wait a sec. You guys fought Grexes? The two of you? Hey, that's still pretty cool.
Thank you.
They've been hassling a lot of teams lately, especially how they hunt in packs and all.
Let's not get too excited. Confidence can be good. Overconfidence can be fatal, especially when you're new.
Yeah, you're right.
But enough talk. We've got our mission to deal with. Let's head out.
Roger. That probe isn't gonna install itself. Let's get to the East Gate, shall we?
To be fair, there were more Grexes than there were us. Now, before we go out, I'm not gonna immediately jump headlong back into Primordia without first doing something about our gear, because I don't know if you've noticed, our gear's pretty dire. Look at our resistance spread on the bottom. Only 5 physical resistance and then negatives everywhere else across the board. We need to do something about that, and we can. But first of all, let's see what ground gear we've got. Ooh, we do have something we can change into. Better defense rating and no resistance reductions outside of gravity. That's already better. Let's pop those on. And then for the rest of our protective wear, let's hop into the terminal and see what we can afford. You can see we've got a few stats to look at here. We've got the defense rating of the weapon. We've got the 6 resistance types. We've got how many upgrades it's got, what manufacturer it's got, what it sells for, and finally on the bottom, additional effects. Potential boost, potential up, EXP boost, potential boost, and potential boost. Okay. For our purposes, I think potential up is going to be ideal. We'll talk about the potential stat a bit later on, but for now, this is just going to help our resistances out. Next up, bodywear, ranged attack up, melee attack up. Those are good. Starting out, we get plus 10 to either one. 33 to 43 with just rank 1. We get plus 10. That's a good. You saw on Elmer's bodywear we had ranged attack up, and on Lynn's bodywear we had melee attack up. Those are vastly contributing to their attack stats. So for us, however, Heatwave, useless at this point. We haven't encountered Heatwave as a weather effect yet. XP boost could be nice, but I think, for our purposes, let's do melee attack up. Sleeves, resist thermal resistance down. We haven't encountered that debuff yet, so it's not that important. XP boost, accuracy. Let's go for the XP boost. And the same on the other arm. And then survival pads. Is there anything better in here? Focused evasion, EXP boost, melee attack boost, and ranged attack boost. These, at this point in the game, are not worth it. These increase melee attack by a very small percentage, only 5%. But since our melee attack is so low at the moment, that 5% boost is only going to afford us, I think, 1 or 2... Okay, it affords us 2 more in the stat. A melee attack up gives us 10 for comparison. A melee attack 1 of the same rank gives us 10. These are not worth it. So, and focused evasion, I'll show what this does. It boosts evasion by 7%, a measly amount, when within enemy melee range. Evasion up is just better at this point. It's, like, you can't even see the evasion going up. 3% on an 18 evasion stat isn't even a whole integer. It isn't even a whole decimal. So, let's go with survival pants. As for Elmer and Lynn, I like the gear they've got. Lynn's got melee attack up 1 on all of her gear, and Elmer has got ranged attack up on all of her gear. The only issue with Elmer's gear is that is her resistance spread. You see she's got 80 beam resistance straight off the bat, when there have been no enemies in the game that have inflicted beam damage. She's got no physical resistance at all. So, can Elmer do away with a bit of her ranged attack? I think she can. Let's put the survival bodywear on her. Let's also take a look at Lynn's weaponry, because she has got a stock standard shield at the moment. Resist flinch, ranged accuracy up. These are pretty good, actually. I have decided that I'm going to give Lynn the Iron Pave. My reasoning here is that her shield, she does get resist flinch as an effect. However, with the melee TP gain up that the Iron Pave gives her, and the shorter cooldown, this is actually more TP value for money, since she'll get 120 just by base, but with the melee TP gain up, that is increased by 50 on the auto attack, meaning that it is actually 170 TP gain value, as opposed to 165. This has also got a shorter cooldown, it's got less stability, but I think it's a good payoff. In addition to that, I've also given Elmer and Lynn survival goggles, since neither of them had any headgear equipped. This gives each of them potential up 1, to increase their potential by 4. This will make Elmer's stream edge stronger, and it will make Lynn's wild down stronger. Also, the plus 10 physical resistance up provided by the goggles is nice to have, as it means Lynn's now got 50 physical resistance, and Elmer has got 20. Another thing that I'm going to do is quickly hop into fashion gear. Since swapping Elmer's bodywear out for the survival gear means that she has now got a cosmetic mismatch in her armor, and I want to remedy that. I want to get it all back the same. I'm also going to set Grenada Light as her default fashion gear until we find something better for her, because I really like this armor for Elmer. I think it really suits her. Next to the terminal here is Vera.
What?
Have there been any recent developments? Ugh. I may be a rough and tumble blade, but believe it or not, I was once studying to be a biologist. When I was a student, I was always off on one cross-country trip after another, doing field work with my professor. We traversed jungles and deserts hunting for rare animals and fossils, And when we'd find one, we'd jump up and down with glee, like children. My professor stayed behind on Earth, but I know he'd be thrilled to come here and see all the unidentified species on Mira. My condolences to you, Vera. That's another person on the affinity tree. Could have been two if the professor had stayed on the whale. Up ahead, I can see Suriella. We've already spoken to her, but to the left here is someone who isn't on the tree. Hello, Serona.
Hi.
Can we speak to you? Let's ask her about the map, shall we?
Wow.
Ah, you're that new crew member they found, aren't you? So what do you think? Isn't this town huge? But as big as it seems, Mira is a whole lot bigger, so don't go running off half-cocked. That comm device you're holding can display a map of the surrounding area. If you lose your bearings, just fire it up and take a look. The triangle is your current position. The teal dots are your fellow team members, and the white dots are people like me. As for skulls, well, you don't have one of those yet, so never mind. But when you do get one, take a look at your map and see for yourself. And if we walk just a little bit away, there's the white dot that represents Serona on the map. And what about you over here? Quite a few skulls by the gate. Let's make each other a promise. We're both gonna come back from our deployments alive. Deal? Yeah. That goes for us as well. There's also a bench there we can change the time. I killed an Injun the other day and a weapon popped out of its belly. Now we'll wield it in combat to honor the comrade the monster ate. Ooh! That's morbid, actually. So you're saying when we kill indigents, we are going to be looting weaponry from other blades out of their bodies? Lovely. Doubtless, once we exit back into Primordia and start fighting indigents again, we're probably going to pick up more weapons and armor that may be better than what we've currently got equipped. This is a nice little barricade setup you've got going on here. I don't fear for any indigents getting through here. Also, you've got the chiseled out crystal here as well that I was commenting on the west gate. Thomas, what have you got to say?
Hey.
Ask Thomas about... Yes, please, tell us a bit more.
Yes?
Why not get used to battling indigents by fighting some Ovis? This place is lousy with them after all. Unlike Rexes and other more ferocious indigents, Ovis won't even attack unless you hit them first. That makes them useful as training dummies. Another piece of advice, don't mistakenly pick a fight with any of the dangerous creatures near Seram Lake to the north. Numerous skilled interceptors have fallen to the indigents in that area. As noble a goal as protecting the city is, it's not worth risking your life like that. If you ever catch the eye of one of those indigents, just turn and run away. Good to know. And what about on the other side? Any other recent developments? Apparently, Nelson's team has gone missing. They'd planned to install a number of data probes and then come straight back to the city. What could have happened to them? I don't know what sort of foe they ran into, but let this be a lesson. You have to be careful when you're exploring. And stepping out into the wild once again, as the sun sets... Ooh, there's a Lepix up ahead. And I see another one down the trail, but if we run through the Lepix's legs, here, we're greeted with a much tamer sight over here. You look like you're having a bit of a crisis there, mate. What about you? You? Grassland Ovis. Let's zoom in a bit and take a look at you. Look at that wiggly pom-pom tail. They're like little tapir sheep. Before we move further on and do the objective, I do want to get a couple of class upgrades for each of our characters. Did you hear it bleat there? It's adorable. And just as the guy at the gate said, this Ovis next to him isn't really bothered by it. That's a rank up, that's what I wanted. Infuriate, that's a debuff art for the Drifter. Ooh, and we got some armor as well. Resist stun, stun decoy. That's a nice combo effect, but it's not going to be useful for us. So let's just take the selected. I believe what doesn't get selected gets sold. First of all, let's break off your pom-pom. There it goes. And then let's attack the head. And do the flame grenade.
Game and set.
And down it goes. Elma got a class rank up. Can we see what... if she obtained anything from that? No. Ooh, it's turned to night time now. Okay. I didn't see you up there. You are miniature adseculas. Level 9 and 10. You're a bit above my pay grade. What about back here? There's a Lepix. You look a bit more promising. Level 4 miniature adseculas. And you have appendages. Okay, there's rain. Oh, as if things couldn't get better.
Melee attacks now.
Let's fight something a bit bigger. Let's fight this Lepix. Before we do, let's target the head. And open art with Slit Edge.
Slit edge.
I was hoping to get a soul voice from that. A shame. It's fine.
I'll put some power
Lepixes
in
have a
this.
particularly nasty art. Or a couple of nasty arts, but the main one is body press. That is a gravity attribute art that you see when it goes up high and stretches out its limbs and then comes toppling down. That's an AoE damaging art that deals gravity damage. And gravity resistance is kind of an issue, because pretty much all armor we can equip reduces our gravity resistance, so we're particularly vulnerable to gravity damage. Raw, that inflicts slow arts, that increases the cooldown time on all of our arts. The other appendage I want to tackle is this back appendage up here, as that also turns an art off, if we can get this. We're taking a bit of damage here, but it looks like the Lepix is taking more damage than we are. There we go, and we're
Hope I
alive.
didn't get in the way.
Max TP up isn't bad, but the secondary effect isn't going to be of any use to us. 600 TP, really we want multiples of 1,000 to be useful, since everything in the game costs multiples of 1,000. Elma has got, she's got Side Slash, that's one of the arts I wanted to unlock. There's one that I want to give Lynn as well, and maybe also get a second one for our character as well. Since it's nighttime, the Vespers are out as well. We don't need to do much to get their
Wear them down
attention.
from a distance. Victory is
Nice.
ours.
Rank up, class rank. No new art though. Ooh, you're majestic. And you are equal parts elephant and slug. Look at you. Ooh, you're beautiful. Beautiful boy. Let's kill you.
Wear them down from a
One of the
distance.
voice prompts from Adam Howden as a VA, which is one of the options you can have on voices. Sorry, but it was you or us.
We're in a game and set.
Nice work.
There's the art I wanted from Lynn, Trash Talk. That's going to be crucial for her class. And then there's one more art that I want to unlock. Let's kill these Adseculas for it. Adseculas are tricky as well because they have a few debuffs that are unique to
melee
them.
attacks.
One of them was stun, and the other was blackout. That lowers ranged attack, and it lowers ranged accuracy. And I think also made melee accuracy as well. I'll check it after the battle. That's a level up. Not quite what I wanted. So it turns out Blackout's actually quite a bit worse than even I was anticipating. Unlike Fatigue, which only decreases damage dealt from melee type attacks, Blackout decreases ranged attack damage, accuracies, and evasion. It's really nasty. And much worse than Fatigue. Ooh, perfect. There's the other art I want to recuperate. With that, let's move forward to this base camp. Eastgate base camp. And let's have a chat to you on top of the vehicle. Blade has base camp set up for Admiral, where you can rest up in a tent or trailer. If you find one, kick off your boots and make yourself at home. That's what they're there for. What he's referring to are these tents, which we used before when we were moving along the beach below Shadow Rise. But for our purposes, I don't think we need to change the time. It's almost morning. So I'm going to use this moment to talk one further detail about soul voices, which is another thing we can do to affect how our battles play out. I want to go in here and make a couple of customizations. Specifically these three. Draw melee, draw ranged, and opening art. So, assuming we initiate the battle and we're not ambushed, we can choose to either open the battle by drawing a melee weapon, drawing a ranged weapon, or straight up attacking with an art straight away. And which one we go with will change the soul voice that we fire out, assuming that we get the soul challenge. And the same is true for Elmer and Lynn. I'm not going to bother with the rest of these just yet, because there's a lot to take in here just off the bat. But I am going to take a look at these. For draw melee, inflict extra damage, inflict stagger, or gain TP per hit. I don't think inflicting stagger, for our purposes, is particularly useful, because... Actually, no, let's do it. Let's do it anyway. It's not going to be very useful in this party specifically, because Elma's already got Shadow Strike. But for future parties, it's going to be indispensable, because not many other party members we're going to be getting can learn it. Draw ranged. Right now, if we respond, we'd be giving Elma or Lyn 50% more damage. Personally, I think we should go with the buff art. This will add a tier to whatever buff art gets used, and both Elma and Lyn have buffs. Elma's got Upper Hand, which is critical power. This will add a tier to that. Lyn has got Flame Cloak, which is thermal resistance up for the whole party. Really, really useful. Finally, though, opening art. Right now, it's set to melee and gives a damage boost 200 more from behind. I'm going to set this to 100 TP per hit, make it ranged. The reason for that is because if we open with an art, Elma will respond with Sliding Slinger, and because that's multi-hit, she's going to be benefiting gaining 100 TP for every hit of that art. Lyn, similarly, has also got Fire Carnival, which is also multi-hit, so they're both going to be getting quite a bit of TP out of this Soul Voice, assuming it activates. So, for the rest of our battles, I'm going to do my best to open with an art. Let's go with Infuriate.
Infuriate! Give me some cover
Bingo,
fire.
give me some cover fire. There we go. Just like that, she goes from 700 to 1300 off of activating that Soul Voice prompt. Sliding Slinger already gives her 10 TP per hit, and it hits 6 times, but with that 100 TP per hit from the Soul Voice response, she gained 660 TP in the blink of an eye, and was able to use Stream Edge immediately afterwards, which is her TP art. It's really, really good. And considering Lyn's got 10 hits on her Fire Carnival, just imagine that when we get to see that. A very low chance of inflicting fatigue when melee auto attacking. I don't think this is worth it personally, because we've already got fatigue on Elma's Side Slash, which is much more reliable. Let's just take the materials. And then I'm just going to rest up in here for a short time, and then we'll move forward to where the mission objective is wanting us to go. Let's sleep in a bit until 9, shall we?
Wouldn't surprise me at all. Irina's team is one of our best.
How does he know Irina and Gwyn?
We ran into them just before we met up with you. They were on their way out to an assignment.
Well, then that settles it. It must have been them, right? Man, forget this amateur hour pro baloney. Those guys are where the action's at.
I'll try not to take that personally. But enough talk. We've got our mission to deal with. Let's head out.